Good evening and welcome to today's event, which marks another milestone in the 58 years long history of Toyota in Mauritius. Tonight, we are honored by the presence of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Pravin Kumar Jagannath, who despite his hectic schedule has graciously responded to our invitation for the official inauguration of the new Toyota Business Center at Bagatelle. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. We really appreciate it. After 2 long years under the pandemic with many restrictions, we are very glad to finally be able to be reunited for this joyous occasion. At Toyota Mauritius, we remain conscious of the ongoing consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic and convey our sympathy and solidarity to everyone who has been afflicted by it. In parallel, the Mauritian economy, including the automobile sector, also suffered from the economic downturn. If the government had not come up with bold and timely measures, such as the wage assistance scheme, many firms would have closed down, causing unemployment and social crisis. As a breath of fresh air to the automobile industry, the grant of rebate on excise duty payable on bonded warehouse vehicles in June 2020 were most welcome. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, for these very helpful measures in sustaining the automobile industry and the Mauritian economy in these very challenging times. In fact, the long history of Toyota in Mauritius has faced its fair share of challenges, but has always remained resilient throughout. As many of you know, in April 2006, the Vichan Company Limited entered into a joint venture with CFAO. This led to the creation of Toyota Mauritius, and both shareholders were committed to constructing a new showroom to accommodate our customers. Despite the global financial crisis of 2008, Toyota Mauritius did not hesitate to purchase 3.5 acres of land in Richeterre to build the new showroom. Construction started in 2010 and was completed in 2011. This investment reaped returns in the sales of Toyota vehicles that witnessed a progressive increase from about 900 units in 2011 to a stunning 1,700 units in 2018. As a result of this huge increase in sales, Toyota Mauritius was again faced with the challenge for further business expansion and had to make the best strategic choice from existing options. Firstly, either to renovate our existing premises at Ouverture, which was the first Toyota building in Mauritius, or secondly, constructing a brand new building with a prime and accessible location for our customers. Considering constraints such as the advanced age of the building at Ouverture and the limited capacity of the land for further expansion, Toyota Mauritius decided to purchase 4 acres of prime land in the Bagatelle Motor City in 2018. The construction of the new premises started in February 2020, right before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, against all odds, the construction was completed in September 2021, and tonight I am delighted to welcome you all at our new Toyota Business Center. Let me share some salient features of the new premises, which are as follows. A spacious showroom of 750 square meters that can easily display 8 vehicles along with the customer lounge. A mezzanine that accommodates the administrative offices. A spare part warehouse of over 500 square meters with a stock capacity of 5,000 items. A service workshop of more than 1,300 square meters with a service capacity of more than 50 vehicles per day. And some 200 parkings for our customers and staff with a smooth operation of our business. This facility has required a total investment of 250 million rupees and has created an additional of 25 jobs. I am also pleased to share that we have strongly considered sustainable endeavors in the development of our new project. This is in line with government initiatives for cleaner, greener renewable energy and a carbon-neutral industrial sector. Indeed, the 2022 budget speech advocates for carbon neutrality by 2030. I am proud to mention that the CFO Group is aiming to reduce its carbon footprint by 25% within the next 3 years. In this context, Toyota Mauritius has been selected among the priority distributors in Africa for the installation of solar panels to generate power instead of using electricity from the grid. Consequently, this new facility will be equipped with solar panels by June next year and will aim to be as autonomous as possible in terms of its power generation and consumption. Another illustration of the proactive assistance of the government in sustainable development is the announcement that as from 1st July 2022, all hybrid and electric cars are now duty-free. This measure, which is very avant-gardist for an island developing state, will act as a game changer for the future of the automobile industry in Mauritius. Tonight, we have displayed in our showroom three different SUVs, namely the RAV4, the Corolla Cross, and the CHR, all of which are using the latest hybrid technology. Also on display is the Land Cruiser 300. This large SUV is Toyota's flagship model in Africa and is being specially prepared for our guests this evening. You are all invited to have a close look at these vehicles after the inauguration. Ladies and gentlemen, at Toyota Mauritius, sustainability unfolds on a multi-dimensional scale. In this sense, as a responsible corporate organization, the company has contributed more than 25 million rupees to corporate social responsibility activities during the last 12 years. Toyota Mauritius principally aims to channel CSR funds to NGOs, focusing on 4 key issues, namely education for needy students, health with a focus on diabetes, road safety campaigns, and the protection of the environment and wildlife. We remain committed to the well-being of the Mauritian citizens. Moreover, in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change, Toyota Mauritius will participate in the master plan for greening and embellishment of motorways M1 and M2 to the tune of 2 million rupees. We firmly believe that this project will transform the scenic view from the airport to the north of the island. This will not only benefit to the tourism industry, but also help to reduce the greenhouse gas effect. Ladies and gentlemen, before ending, let me pay special tribute to the founding fathers of the Beachan Company Limited, namely late Mr. Sukhdev Sir, late Mr. Karam Chani Sir, and late Mr. Rohes Philippe, without whose vision we would not have been meeting here tonight to witness yet another milestone in the history of Toyota in Mauritius. A special vote of thanks goes to our architect, project manager, contractor, engineers, and all those who contributed to make this construction possible. I must also thank our valued customers and all our stakeholders for their ongoing support and trust in ensuring Toyota's continued success as a superior brand in the automotive industry for the past decades. I also convey my deepest gratitude to all the staff and directors of Toyota Mauritius. I am proud to say that the construction of our new business center has been self-financed with no recourse to loans or overdraft facilities. And this achievement has only been made possible with the effort, collaboration, and cooperation of each and everyone working at Toyota Mauritius. The Honorable Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you once more for having devoted your precious time to this memorable event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monsieur Issa. So we've heard it, 1964, partnership between Toyota Motor Corporation and the Beachan Company Limited into a strong and successful venture, as we have heard just now. Essentially a family business, the Issa family quickly became very famous from the 60s onwards. But it was in 2006 that Toyota Mauritius Limited was officially incorporated. This gave rise to its rapid development and strategic geographical expansion all around the island, carrying in its wake the expansion of the Toyota brand in Mauritius. Speaking of Toyota in Japan, we are delighted to have in our midst His Excellency Suichiro Kawaguchi, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Japan to Mauritius, whom I have now the honor to invite on the podium to address our distinguished audience this evening. Your Excellency, please.
Thank you very much, TMC. Honorable Prime Minister Pravin Kumar, His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Mauritius, Mr. Marie Cyril Eddie Boisson, EOSK, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister Mr. Obrigado, Chief Whip, Honorable Nabina Lamia, Member of the National Assembly, Honorable Honorable Ministers, and former President Mr. Paramasivaram Pillai, Diapuri, GOSK, the Managing Director of Toyota Mauritius, Mr. Arvind Issa, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It gives me immense pleasure to attend the official inauguration of this new splendid Toyota Business Center among you all today. I am equally proud to see among the distinguished guests the Honorable Prime Minister here. It is with great satisfaction that I see the representation and promotion of Japanese products in Mauritius. I wish to thank Toyota Mauritius and Mr. Arvind Issa for fairly and successfully promoting a Japanese brand in this country. I wish to congratulate Mr. Issa on this new milestone today. I always say that I personally have a soft corner for this brand, which I drive myself during my free time. Throughout my throughout my life, I have driven the Sprinter some 35 years ago, Hiace, Aigo, Oris, and Jeeps. Those cars are inexpensive cars, but I can vouch they are safe and very good vehicles and fun to drive. It is my utmost dream to see more Japanese products in Mauritius and some Japanese companies setting up robust and resilient business here. I regard tonight's event as the start of the future strengthening of trade relations and economic cooperation between Japan and Mauritius. As the ambassador of Japan to Mauritius, I will always work my best to bridge any gap and link our countries ever closer. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice evening ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, distinguished guests. I now invite you to watch a short video on the history of Toyota in Mauritius. So please turn your attention to the giant screen right behind me and enjoy. Thank you. Quite a trip for all of us. Thank you very much. Honourable Prime Minister, the measures announced in the recent budget speech having to do with tax rebates on electric vehicles came as a relief for most of the Mauritian car owners as well as the dealerships on the island. Furthermore, all of us Mauritians, impatient to contribute to the reduction of our carbon footprint, could only but hail your decision to do so. Even if we know that this transition will take some time, at least the doors are now open to allow each Mauritian citizen to consider new options when investing in a vehicle in line with the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, ces fameux ODD, les Objectifs de Développement Durable in French. Distinguished guests, it's my honor and privilege now to invite our next speaker. Please join me in welcoming the Honourable Pravin Kumar Jagannath, Prime Minister of Mauritius, to the stand for his keynote speech. The Prime Minister.
His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Mauritius, the Deputy Prime Minister, my colleague ministers, members of the National Assembly, former Vice President of the Republic of Mauritius, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan, Managing Director of Toyota Mauritius Limited, Directors of Toyota Mauritius Limited, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm delighted to be here this evening for the inauguration of the Toyota Business Center. Allow me, first of all, to extend my gratitude to all motor vehicle dealers in the country for ensuring that the mobility needs of our population are met by making available a wide array of vehicles, including specialized vehicles. We should also be grateful to operators in this sector because the importation and distribution of motor vehicles is one of the main engines of growth of our economy. The transport sector accounts for 13% of the gross domestic product, and some 634,000 vehicles are registered with the National Land Transport Authority, out of which 330,995 are cars and dual-purpose vehicles. The average growth in the vehicular fleet over the past 5 years stood at around 4.2%, which indicates a steady rise in vehicle ownership. The contribution of all stakeholders, such as Toyota Mauritius Limited, in shaping the transport industry in Mauritius does not go unnoticed. Even if the incorporation of Toyota Mauritius Limited is quite recent, following the joint venture between Toyota Tsusho Corporation and the Beecham Company Limited in 2006, the Toyota brand is firmly established in Mauritius. Since the introduction of the first Toyota car in 1964, the brand has been embraced by a significant part of the Mauritian population. I must commend the Issa family for having continuously endeavored to provide high-quality services and reliable products to our citizens. This family is intrinsically linked to the Toyota brand and has played a significant part in making cars and other types of vehicles such as double cabs, commercial vehicles, and sports utility vehicles easily available on the market. With a turnover of around 1.9 billion rupees for the financial year ending 31st of March 2022, there is no doubt that the Toyota Group, and by extension, the automobile industry in Mauritius is booming as many Mauritians are proceeding with the purchase of new cars. some 8,000 new cars have been registered annually during the period 2018 and 2020, while more than 8,700 second-hand cars have been imported yearly during the same period. The savoir-faire acquired since the 1960s and the upscale customer service of Toyota are the main reasons why Toyota brand is firmly rooted in Mauritius. I congratulate the Issa family and the employees of Toyota Mauritius Limited for that great success. Ladies and gentlemen, it is comforting to know that there is a gradual shift towards the hybrid and electric vehicles in Mauritius. More and more people are embracing cleaner vehicles. As of May 2022, there were 21,538 hybrid vehicles registered with the National Land Transport Authority, while there are some 718 electric cars registered. Government will of course step up and further incentivize the adoption of cleaner vehicles in Mauritius. We will promote sustainability mobility and reduce the carbon footprint of the transport sector. Polluting vehicles not only undermine the environment, but they also pose a threat to the health of our population, inasmuch as the transport sector contributes to around 28% of the overall emissions. The land transport sector is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gas. The energy and transport sectors generate around 80% of the overall carbon emissions in Mauritius. There is a pressing need to reverse this trend. This can be achieved only with the collective efforts and with the contribution of all the relevant stakeholders. One of the commitments of Mauritius is to reduce carbon emissions in the transport sector through incentivizing the use of electric vehicles and diversifying our energy mix with a target of 60% green energy by 2030. The operation of electric vehicles remains one of the key measures to decarbonize the land transport sector. And in this context, several incentives are already being provided to encourage users to switch to greener vehicles. In addition to benefiting from a rebate in the registration duty, owners of electric cars, vehicles in general, are eligible to reduce fee when renewing their motor vehicle license. Moreover, customs duty on electric vehicles have been removed, and vehicle owners are allowed to install a photovoltaic system not exceeding 10 kilowatts to cater for the charging of their vehicles and export any surplus to the grid. Similarly, Budget 2022-23 makes provision for solar farm facilities for the Metro Express, which operates solely through electricity at its depot in Richelieu and at Barclay, so as to make the operation of the light rail transit system even more sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, we all acknowledge that a modern and efficient public transport system is a key lever for economic growth. And in this regard, there is need to make our public transport more attractive by ridding our roads of black smoke buses and vans. To that end, the National Transport Corporation acquired an electric bus which is being used on a pilot basis. The operation of that bus has been successful, and consideration is being given for the National Transport Corporation to avail of 200 electric buses as part of its fleet renewal strategy. With a view to allowing other bus operators to renew their fleet with electric-run buses, the Industrial Finance Corporation of Mauritius Limited, which is a government-owned entity, will provide leasing facilities at a very low interest rate of 3% to bus operators to allow them to acquire electric buses and the charging infrastructure. The repayment period would be spanned over 10 years. The bus modernization scheme, which has been set up to incentivize fleet rejuvenation, is being revised so that subsidies are restricted to the acquisition of electric buses only. Likewise, private companies who intend to acquire electric vehicles will benefit from a 3.5% leasing facility from the Industrial Finance Corporation of Mauritius Limited, while the Development Bank of Mauritius would provide a loan at 0.5% rate spread over 7 years to allow taxi and van operators to purchase an electric vehicle. In addition to making electric and hybrid vehicle duty-free, a negative excise duty scheme of 10%, capped at 200,000 rupees, will apply whenever an individual purchases an electric vehicle. These measures aim to accelerate the transition to eco-friendly vehicles and seek to increase the uptake of electric vehicles in Mauritius, as we cannot afford to lag behind in the electrification of the vehicular fleet in Mauritius. The deployment of more electric vehicles powered by clean and renewable sources of energy is one of the most effective strategies to curb down carbon emissions in the transport sector. The operation of electric vehicles will help us achieve a 40% reduction in the overall carbon emissions by the end of this decade. This will allow Mauritius not only to honor its commitments to reduce carbon emissions, but also to improve the balance of payment to the country in terms of lower importation of fuel products. In fact, for the year 2020-21, the State Trading Corporation had to order 205,000 metric tons of mogas and 285,000 metric tons of gas oil. With the operation of more electric vehicles, a steep reduction in such imports would definitely be achieved. We have begun our journey towards the electrification of our vehicular fleet, and I would urge all stakeholders to move at a faster pace. Private sector and citizen-led initiatives to greening our transport sector will be supported so that we may collectively reduce our carbon footprint. To conclude, I would like to congratulate the management and the employees of Toyota Mauritius Limited again for their continued contribution to the transport sector and for having reached another milestone. And all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Mr. Prime Minister, I'm going to request you to stay on the center stage, please, as I call upon Madame Ruma Issa, who will be presenting a gift to you as a token of appreciation of your esteemed presence in our midst tonight. Madame Issa, please. Sous vos applaudissements nourris, j'espère. Thank you. please remain on stage. Mr. Prime Minister, could you please move towards we are going to proceed with the unveiling of the plaque, Mrs. Issa. As I call His Excellency, Mr. Shuichiro Kawaguchi, as I call the executives of Toyota, Mr. Arvin and Ravi Issa, as well as Mr. Peter Blomfeld, please. Madam, in there. And there we are. We're set. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, Mr. Prime Minister. There we are. So for those who are interested, it reads Toyota Mauritius Limited, Toyota Business Centre, inaugurated by the Honourable Pradip Kumar Jagannath, Prime Minister of the Republic of Mauritius, in the presence of His Excellency, Mr. Shuichiro Kawaguchi, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Japan, and Mr. Arvin Issa, Managing Director, Toyota Mauritius Limited, on Friday 15th, 2022.